What's up, everyone? It is Sean Evans here with Odd Shopper, bringing you another CSGO Underdog Fantasy video for day number 2 of the third group stage of the ESL Pro League Season 16 event. We have 3 great matches on tap for you guys. We have Australis versus Mouse, Heat versus Complexity, Heroic versus Ints. It's going to be action-packed, just like day number 1, where we saw Mouse sweep Heroic. And then we saw Australis and Complexity go 3 maps. Second map went overtime. Third map was pretty good. Obviously, Complexity came out and took the series overall. And then we saw Ints just completely dominate Heat. So it is going to be a pretty fun-packed Thursday slate for you guys. And before we do dive into that, make sure you do click the like and subscribe button down below. Turn the notifications on. That way you always get notified when we do post new videos for you. Obviously, we are going into week number 2 of the NFL season. College football is going and it is hitting. So you do not want to miss out on any of the content that we do drop for you guys. And now let's go ahead and let's get into the CSGO Underdog Fantasy board for tomorrow's action. As you can see, we are starting off with Australis versus Mouse. Some good totals here up for a pretty high intense matchup that we'll most likely see. Mouse came out pretty strong right away with exertion, replacing biomass overall. They did not skip a beat, so it is going to be fun. I do suspect that we see each map go pretty deep. We most likely see 3 maps for this series. No matter how strong Australis does come out, they usually give up, after they swap sides, they allow the other team to come back in, or they play catch up and they just lose by about 2 to 3 rounds. But it is what we are used to seeing with Australis. And with that, I do want to start off with blameF over 41.5 kills. Obviously, for this series, it is going to be pretty intense, pretty high packed action overall. And for that, in the past month, blame does hold a 1.22 player rating. He also has a 0.75 kills per round. Obviously, versus Complexity, blame did not miss. Config did not miss. These guys just went off, and I suspect something's going to happen just similar of that. One thing with Australis is, even if Config isn't hitting on his shots, usually blameF, no matter what, is going to continue it. He may start off a little bit slow, and usually we don't see too many down games from him, even if Australis is down bad. And on top of that, in the past 4 best-of-3 series that blame has played in, 3 of those he has gone over the 41.5 kill total mark anyways. And on top of that, for the 3 maps that he has played versus Mouse, he holds a 1.66 player rating versus them. So even overall, Australis could come out and lose this, 0-2 versus Mouse. blameF is most likely going to step up and try to keep Australis in it. And that is why he is going to be the first play of the slip of over 41.5 kills on maps 1 and 2. And before we do dive into pick number 2, as always, if you have yet to sign up on Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use promo code STOCHASTIC8. That is the number 8. That way you get double your first deposit up to $100. That means it's free house money to play with. And like I already mentioned, we are kicking off week 2 of the NFL tomorrow also with the CSGO slate. You do not want to miss out on any of that action. And when you have free house money to play on, that's just more slips for you to make and more money for you to take from Underdog Fantasy. So do not miss out on using promo code STOCHASTIC8 if you have yet to sign up on Underdog Fantasy. And with that, getting into the second play of the slip is going to be Complexity versus Heat. And like I said, we did see Complexity, go toe-to-toe with Australis. They may not have had the prettiest map 1, but map 2 was a lot better showing than obviously on Dust 2. Their map 3 showing was very strong to where they were able to close out. And versus this Heat team, they are going to come out pretty slow. I think they're still trying to mesh everything together. They didn't look horrible versus Ints. Obviously, Ints was able to dominate them and sweep. I think Complexity has that similar upside here versus them too, with how good they looked versus Australis. But on that, I do want to take hallzerk under 11 headshots. With this play, he is the opper of the team, which means headshots isn't as important for him to hit. Shots obviously just usually one hit kills unless you leg the opponent. So he doesn't even have to aim for the head to get it. Overall, for the past month, he does hold a 31% rating for headshots, which is pretty bad. Usually when you want to target headshot players, you want to go for anything that's over 50%. 48% is usually pushing it. It is going to be tiptoeing. And then obviously you want to look at the matchup. Even with this having complexity, having upside here to sweep, I just don't think hallzerk will be able to hit it. Even in OT, he struggled versus Australis to knock down headshots. He was obviously knocking down his scouts and op shots, but headshots are just not something that he can be hitting, and he doesn't hit it at a very good rate. And when you look at the past month, he's just holding a 1.07 player rating, which means killing wise, fragging wise, he's not going to be really up there too much to be getting kills overall. I do think complexity is going to be looking more at Grim and Fang for the kills overall, to where hallzerk under 11 headshots is what I want to add to the slip and make it the second pick. And then going with the number 3 pick of the slip, which will be ending on with the ENCE versus Heroic, is going to be a dycha over 35.5 kills. We saw ENCE debut their new lineup with Vald and with Sampayas, which looked very, very good. And with dycha, he actually, had some upside there with it. Obviously, the usage rate is going to go to Vald. It's going to go with Sampayas, who did have some great fights overall versus Heat. I think with Heroic, with how, I don't want to say how bad they looked versus Mouse, but how slowly they put things together or were able to get back into maps. They made very big mistakes versus Mouse. I think with this ENCE team, with how good they look today, it is something we want to jump on at 35.5 kills for dycha. I do want to take that. He did put up 36 kills versus Heat. Like I said, you do have Valdi now, who is going to be taking a good chunk of the usage there. But in the past 3 months, he's only dropped below 35.5 kills 3 times in 9 series. So he's still hitting above the mark anyways. I think that's going to be the upside here. Maps are going to be extended. I do think we see close to 30 rounds for both maps that his kills do count on. And then in the 6 maps versus Heroic so far in 2022, dycha has been +5 in the kill-death ratio department, but also holds a 1.05 player rating versus him. So he may not have the 40 to 45 kill upside, but he does have above 35.5 kills upside to take. So that's why I am adding him as a 3rd pick to this slip, with blameF over 41.5 kills and hallzerk under 11 headshots. So that's going to be it. And as always, make sure you do hit that like and subscribe button down below. That's it. I hope you guys have a good one. Good luck. I am out.